Hello and welcome. You are listening to the YoGPoD. Simon, I hear there was some news from America.
Yeah. There's a law has been passed or is being passed or something in Tennessee. I think it's on its way or something. This bill, the whole point of it is that you can't say gay in classrooms, and you're not supposed to talk about gay issues or bring up gay people or anything. It's just all banned because it's the Deep South and they don't like talking about that kind of thing. It's an affront to God, etc. And George Takei has done a video in response to this, and he has...
Oh, of course.
Yes.
He played
Sulu.
Sulu
He was
in
like the pilot
Star Trek.
of the Enterprise, pretty much, wasn't he? He was the one who steered it around.
Famously a homosexual.
Yeah, he came out relatively recently in the whole, he went through all of Star Trek and people were like, what a lovely young man. What a lovely man. Like years later he came out and people were like, oh.
I think I saw him on like the Howard Stern show, or like a video of him like grabbing someone's knob. Basically, he had his hand down some man's trousers and he was feeling his knob.
That's what they get up to.
I think that was, and he was very much enjoying it. Yeah, that's what they get up to on the Howard Stern show in America.
So the whole he's done this video up on YouTube, and the whole point of it is that instead of saying gay in the classroom, you say Takei. And he, as he puts it himself, says, "Don't say gay, say Takei."
Hello and welcome to the YoGPoD. Hello and welcome to the YoGPoD. Welcome to the YoGPoD. Welcome to the YoGPoD. Welcome to the YoGPoD. Hello and welcome to the YoGPoD. Hello and welcome to the YoGPoD. Hello and welcome to the YoGPoD. That little intro there was by Mark Pigeon. Thank you for that. It's a little bit of a remix.
Pigeon. He's called Pigeon.
Very good, wasn't it? It sounded like something out of Zelda or something, but it was quite nice.
What happened to Dead Mouse 5's intro? I thought we were going to use that.
Oh man!
I mean, he's only the biggest DJ in the world.
I can put that in.
It's no problem. It's no problem.
No, I'll put it in later. Sure. I'll put it in next. It'll be the next break music thing. This podcast is made up of little weird bits of audio that we've got kind of left over. Some stuff we recorded ages ago.
It's like a sausage, right?
Right.
Our videos are like prime fillet steak, and this is like sausage. This is all the sweepings up of the floor with all the sawdust and the bit of lip and the bits of anus that go into sausages.
Whoa. What are you saying? That's not, well, they can't do that anymore.
This is an anal sausage. That's all I'm saying.
Whoa!
This is an anal sausage of a podcast. Don't get that on the BBC podcast, do you? You don't get people using the term anal sausage, do you?
No, you do not.
You do with a YoGPoD.
So in this podcast, we've got some discussion we had about a month ago about Pokemons, and we've got me telling an extremely long and boring story, and then we've got some fan mail, So this isn't the greatest thing we've ever done by any means.
Okay.
But that's not what the YoGPoD was created for. The YoGPoD was created for me to upload guff, and you have to listen to the guff. So enjoy
Lovely.
this lovely guff.
Delightful.
Jigglypuff, 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 Jigglypuff.
Would you like to explain to the YoGPoD listeners why you're singing that song, Simon?
I've been playing Pokemon Leaf Green. I've never played a Pokemon game before, never, and it's captured my heart, or rather, a certain little someone has captured my heart.
Aww.
A certain little pink, fluffy fucker has captured my heart. Which I think's a nice, nice way of putting it.
I don't think
He's
the
stolen my
Japanese
heart.
manufacturers would have called him that. But
Actually, the original Japanese, I think it's kanji,
kanji.
iconogram
Yeah.
of kanji of Jigglypuff is Hawaichikawata, which is, if you directly translate it into English, it is fluffy pink little fucker.
I didn't know that. Thank you. That's interesting.
There you go.
So, have you
learn something
been
every day?
collecting them all? I guess it's like 20 years late that
No.
you discovered Pokemon.
I think Leaf Green is a remake of Pokemon Green, along with like Red, which, you know, because they always release 2 games at the same time, so you have to buy 2 games, so they make twice as much money as they would if they only released 1
That's a
game.
bit weird.
Because everyone buys the 2 games.
Yeah.
And I think it's a remake of a game that came out in 2004 or something. Citation needed. I'm not sure if that's accurate.
Okay.
So I am 7
I
years
saw you
late.
posted on your Facebook asking
Um,
how the fuck do I level
Yeah.
up Jigglypuff when his only ability is sing?
yeah.
And you had some.
That was
you had
his
some
one
helpful
ability, was
replies.
sing. I couldn't attack.
You were
I couldn't
totally
do anything. I could
confused.
just send my enemies to sleep. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know you could switch Pokemon in mid-battle or anything. I thought, oh great, now I'm stuck with fucking Jigglypuff for the rest of my life. It's like, even if I started up a new game of Pokemon, it would just be Jigglypuff would just appear. He'd go,
Jigglypuff, Jigglypuff.
and I'm like, no! I want to use Charizard! What are you doing? And like, even if I went into fucking World of Warcraft now, and I log into Honeybeard, my hunter, I bet you instead of like Wolfenstein or whatever, or Jethro, my pet turtle, I'll have fucking Jigglypuff.
Jigglypuff,
Jesus Christ.
Jigglypuff.
Charizard.
Well, there we are. So, have you made much progress into the Pokemons? Have you collected them all?
I've captured, because I believe this is like the original set of Pokemon, so I think there might be the 151 that you can collect.
Mm-hmm.
And out of that, I currently have found and captured a total of 10 Pokemon.
Are you playing it right now?
I do, yes. On my my Game Boy Advance that I've got here in my hands.
Oh, so you're playing
What
it
I'm
on your
playing
Game Boy
it
Advance.
on.
Did you get that for Christmas? Is that it? Did you get bought? I don't.
I bought it legally, and I'm playing the game legally on my Game Boy Advance that I'm holding in my hands, Lewis.
That you got for
wink.
Christmas. Okay, so you can't record
Yeah.
it or anything.
I didn't get a big yellow teapot this
Oh,
year.
no.
You know, like every previous year since I was like 7 or whatever it was. Sorry, I got a bit of a throat.
I'm really snuffly as well. How have we both got ill?
It's that time of year, Lewis.
Like
It's that time
in
of
different
year.
parts of the country.
Because we've both been kissing Hannah Coughs and sneezes spread diseases, Lewis.
Mm.
Remember that. And so does Hannah. She's like
God.
Typhoid Mary of the YoGPoD.
What the fuck is that reference? Typhoid Mary. That is a Victorian reference.
Typhoid Mary. She was a very famous figure in history, Lewis. Typhoid Mary. See, this is educational. This is an educational program for people to listen to.
Tell me about Typhoid Mary.
Typhoid Mary. Oh shit! Here we go. Without looking her up on Wikipedia, Typhoid Mary was Mary Clemens. She was a dishwasher woman. Dishwasher woman. Wait.
Okay, she was Mary Mallon. You're close.
No,
though.
Mary Clemens. She was a dishwasher woman in Victorian. It was actually the reign of Victoria, and there was a well in the middle of London, old London town, and that one well was the source of all water in London, because people just forgot that the Thames existed. So they just used that one well. And one day, Mary came along and she fell in the well and died. And people they used the well to make, to fill their kettles up, to make cups of tea or whatever, so they could eat jaffa cakes, for their dinner with a nice cup of tea. But the kettle was full of water that was full of like Mary's dead corpse juices. So they caught typhoid. That's how it started. Much like AIDS,
I think actually it's quite
came along because a
quite an
man
interesting
had
story,
sex with a
actually.
monkey, and AIDS just magically was created by God to punish people. The same thing
careful
happened
now.
with Mary falling in the well. Falling in the well is a sin, and so is drinking tea. So God was punishing people by giving them all typhoid. So there you go.
Well, apparently
Mm.
she was a cook.
No,
And
she was a dishwasher.
she was
woman.
she was a cook.
She was like a
and she was
washerwoman.
she was very, very
she was-
healthy. But she had
What?
typhoid, but she was like a healthy carrier of typhoid. So she was like the first person to be identified as this healthy carrier, which means that she has the disease and she can transmit the disease to people, but she hasn't. She's had no ill effects of it.
So she was like a
Um,
survivor in Left 4 Dead. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
You're not going to get the same experience with any other podcast. Just listening to Simon and Lewis talk, it's real. It's not scripted. There's no base for their podcast. It's just them talking. It sounds like they woke up in the morning, called each other, and just hit the record button. But it's good quality humor. It's funny. I don't go 5 minutes without going into tears laughing. I love it. The YoGPoD.
So you have a funny story.
I have a funny story.
Lewis's funny story.
I just thought I'd talk to you about this because it's quite interesting. You know how sometimes you like read a article on Wikipedia and it's kind of like it just sort of captures you and then you end up reading the whole thing. It's kind of quite interesting.
Yeah, you read the whole thing, all like 3 paragraphs of it.
Yeah, but some of these
Just
articles
wrapped.
are very, very long. Like, for example, I've been reading the one about the Mary Celeste. Like the ghost ship.
Mm.
Because obviously it was quite an interesting ship that a boat washes up, or is found at sea. Completely deserted. All the crew are missing, but everything's still there. All their personal belongings are still there.
There's like boiled eggs with the top taken off, and the
Yeah.
soldier half dipped into it.
Yeah, and it's still warm. And there's like a cigarette, still like embers, still hot.
Oh, don't. Oh.
It's all scary and strange. But the actual story of the Mary Celeste is true.
What?
And it's actually quite well documented.
Are you sure? I thought it was just like an episode of Star Trek or something, or Fringe.
No, it was Arthur Conan Doyle, who wrote Sherlock Holmes, fictionalized it into a story and exaggerated a lot of the things about it. But in fact, it is actually a true kind of inverted commas mystery from the sort of 1800s.
Mm.
But it's not quite as ridiculous as the way it was made out. So what happened was the story is really that it was the Mary Celeste was a sort of a small cargo ship. I say small. It's a 282-ton
Right.
brigantine. Okay, so that means it's got like multiple sails, and it obviously weighs quite a lot. But it's not actually that difficult to sail. It only needed a crew of about 10 people. Most boats don't have large crews of sailors, and you tend to like see larger crews on like warships because they obviously need a lot of people to man all the cannons. So if you had like 50 cannons, you'd need at least like 100 people to man those 50 cannons, kind of thing. But cargo ships only needed like 6 or 7 crew members.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen Deadliest Catch. I've seen, the size of the ship
Oh god,
and all the
yeah.
stuff that it carries, and there's literally just 4 drunk guys just running it.
I like Deadliest Catch. It's awesome. There's some really good shows like that on TV. Anyway, so in 1872, the Mary Celeste was transporting nearly 2,000 barrels of pure alcohol. Okay, pure ethanol.
Right.
And
Ooh.
it was setting off from New York to Italy, and it was to deliver the ethanol to the Italian wine merchants. Okay, and what the wine merchants did in that time was they actually diluted up their alcohol with ethanol to sort of weaken it, but also make it powerful. So to make like
Weaken
fortified wine. So they'd be able to
How
use.
would it weaken it?
Well, they'd be able to dilute.
They got
their...
wine and they add alcohol to it.
Yeah, but they obviously can add water as
Well,
well.
and then they add more water.
Yeah. So they have to use less.
I see what you mean.
Actual
The actual
valuable wine.
grapes
So it
make
would go
a
a
lot
lot
more
further.
wine.
Yeah.
Right. That makes
So
sense.
they were
That
delivering
makes sense.
2,000, well actually 1,701 barrels of commercial alcohol. So it's all documented very clearly. It was on behalf of Meissner Ackerman and Co. It was worth about 35 grand, and it set sail from Staten Island. Had a crew of 7. They were all named. So the captain was Captain Briggs, and his wife and child were also on board. His 2-year-old girl. And on the day of the voyage set off, the captain actually sent a letter to his mother, and it says, it tells her what's going on, what they're shipping, and it's quite an interesting letter. And obviously, this is all very well documented as well. And before the Mary Celeste left New York, Captain Briggs spoke with one of his old friends, David Morehouse, who was a similar like merchant ship captain who was leaving on a very similar route a week later. Okay, which is quite a strange thing that has been documented, but it has. Okay, so what happened was they set off with this effectively what is known as petrol across the Atlantic, and a week later, Captain Morehouse, so he was obviously sailing across as well, he saw the Mary Celeste in front of him, and it was sort of leaning to one side slightly, called yawing, and also the sail.
Because it was drunk. It was carrying all that alcohol. Ship's pissed.
And so he landed and he went and investigated, and they found that the ship was a thoroughly wet mess. That's what the chief mate was quoted as saying. There were about 3 feet of water in the bilge, in the hold. But it was not sinking at all. No, still seaworthy. That's an unusual amount, but it's not too much. And also, all the ship's papers were missing, except for the captain's logbook, which said nothing about the incident. The forehatch and the back hatch were open, although the main hatch to the cargo bay was still sealed. Okay, it was sealed. The clock wasn't functioning. The compass was broken. And the sextant and marine chronometer, so all the things you need to actually sail in a direction to find out where you're gone, are missing. Okay,
Mm.
the only lifeboat was missing, and the peak halyard, which is a strong rope used to hoist the main sail, had disappeared.
Oh yeah, the peak Maliard.
However,
Yeah,
there
of course.
was a rope, which was possibly the peak halyard,
Yeah,
tied
halyard,
to the
that's
rope
what I said.
very, very strongly. But at the other end, it was frayed and trailing in the water behind the ship. So it was obviously like it could have been snapped, possibly something like that. Okay, so that's the actual evidence that was found initially. 6 months supply of uncontaminated food and water aboard, all the crew's personal possessions and artifact left untouched. So it kind of made the fact that it was piracy very unlikely, and the vessel appeared to have been abandoned in a hurry. Importantly, there were no signs of any struggle anywhere, or any kind of violence. Because the ship was actually found off the coast of Portugal, it wasn't far to Gibraltar, which is a British-held port on the Rock of Gibraltar, the very south of Spain. So what happened was the Captain Morehouse sent his chief mate and another crew member to sail the Mary Celeste back to Portugal. This is a very common thing, actually, and there have been ships that have gone missing when they were trying to be sailed back.
But they didn't make it back. They all disappeared as well.
So they made it back to Gibraltar quite happily.
Oh, okay.
And they got there and they were thinking, great, we can salvage the ship. Okay. And so obviously
Yeah,
the people in
sell the
Gibraltar were very
stuff.
suspicious. They called the police inspector and the local councilman, and they came and inspected the ship, and they paid a couple of Portuguese or Spanish divers to inspect the ship and see if there was any damage to the hull or anything. No damage anywhere that they could find. They searched through the place and found no evidence of piracy or blood or anything like this. The initial scan actually did show that there were apparently traces of blood or an uncleaned sword. That's according to the records. The records of the very first inspector's log. But on future study, the Americans who turned up said that there was no blood. It was just rust. So it was an old sword, not a bloody uncleaned one. It wasn't dried blood on the sword. It was just rusty.
Right. No need to swear, Lewis. I know you're quite passionate about it. But, careful.
Sorry. So yeah, I mean after that, the ship changed hands multiple times.
So where's this going? Have you solved it?
Well, I haven't solved it, but what do you think? What do you think might have
great
happened?
mystery.
So from the evidence so far that I've given you,
Aliens. Possibly a sea serpent or a giant squid
yeah,
from outer space came
Yeah.
down and ate the crew.
Well, that was obviously put forward as a theory, but there are other theories. I mean, the most obvious theory.
Was it? Was it?
Well, come on. Think about better theories than that. Why? I mean, why do you think why do you think this story is so popular? Because it's so easy to attribute to stuff like creepy stuff like that. But think about things that might be more possible, like insurance fraud. So, if the two captains were colluding together, to try and get the insurance money for the boat and all its cargo, that could be a possible thing. But strangely,
But that's not very interesting.
yeah, and also it's kind of not likely to happen because the crew wasn't worth much and the cargo wasn't worth much. It was only, tubs of alcohol that aren't actually that valuable. They're quite cheap to make and they weren't worth very much money. They were only worth, a couple of tens of thousands of dollars, but not
A couple
worth.
of copper.
Not worth.
Oh, was that all? Just tens of thousands of
Well,
dollars
not worth
back
the
then?
effort that would have had to go on into staging the whole thing, and the risks involved with doing so. There are easier ways to do insurance fraud. He could have just burned the ship down, for example, in somewhere. So, possible other things that might have happened were, some sort of storm. and the Mary Celeste could have like thought they thought they were sinking or something. But that's strange as well because the water was higher than normal in the ship, but it was certainly nowhere near enough to warrant abandoning the ship. And the ship was perfectly seaworthy. Other theories is that they evacuated the ship for some reason, and this is probably the best theory. They had to evacuate quickly for some reason.
Yeah.
And what they actually did was because because the ship was still seaworthy and they just carried on. They actually transported the barrels of alcohol to their final destination in Genoa, in Italy. And what they found was that 9 of the barrels were completely empty. One of the most popular theories at the moment is that these barrels leaked. They started to build up ethanol vapor in the hold. Now, what can happen is,
Oh God!
ethanol has actually
Did they all get drunk on the fumes?
Well, no, ethanol has a flash point of around 13 degrees Celsius, which means that in ethanol vapor in a ship will probably be warm enough to cause a flash.
What is the flash?
Well, like flashpoint is something that is very, very commonly used in chemistry, and it is kind of the lowest temperature that a liquid can vaporize to ignite in air, kind of spontaneously. It means that any kind of ignition source or spark can ignite something in air. So what happened was these casks were obviously metal lined, or they were nails in the cargo hold, and there was obviously exposed metal. And what probably happened was ethanol the vapor caught fire or flashed and caused a vapor explosion. Now, if this would have happened, it would not have actually scorched anything and left burn marks.
Oh, so there'd be no traces of any fire.
It would have blown open the hold doors and probably caused like either a very loud explosion or a series of explosions. Now, obviously, if the captain believed his ship was about to explode, he would have ordered everyone into the lifeboat, and obviously taken the instruments they thought they might need with them, the valuable instruments, in case they got stranded in the lifeboat because the ship was going to explode.
Right,
But what he probably would have done is secured the ship to the lifeboat with a strong tow line, so that if the ship didn't explode, it would have been they could have just towed themselves back to the ship and carried on, right? However, as you saw, the rope broke, so that could have possibly been because of the ship going too fast, or a weakness in the rope, or whatever. So that's actually a very popular theory, and it kind of explains certain aspects of it. A serious reason why they might want to abandon the ship, and a reason why the specific things are missing from the ship, and obviously a reason why 9 of the barrels were empty. It's worth noting that all the barrels that were empty were made of a different kind of oak. They were made of red oak rather than white oak. So all the barrels except 9 were made of white oak, and only 3 were made of red oak. And those were the ones that burst.
You solved it. You fucking solved it.
Well, this is on Wikipedia, though. The thing is, this Wikipedia question, this long article about the explosion, and possibilities of it. It's got like UFOs, mutiny, drunkenness. The crew were murdered in a drunken stupor.
Does it actually have UFOs?
Sea creatures.
Does it actually have UFOs?
It says that
on the Wikipedia?
Theories range from alcoholic fumes to paranormal explanations involving UFOs and sea monsters, and disappearance in the Bermuda Triangle. But it didn't go anywhere near the Bermuda Triangle, and also it was found near Portugal. So
no,
that's a bit weird. Yeah, it's quite a good little story actually, and I'm kind of surprised that it's real. There's quite a lot of these paranormal, weird tales, but they're all kind of quite old. They're all like 70+ years ago, kind of thing.
Yeah, it is YoGPoD bringing you the latest news, latest happenings around the world. Ship found without crew. How long ago was this?
1872.
1872. So 230 years. Is that right?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
130 years ago.
The thing is, we've had like CSI and Sherlock
Oh.
Holmes for the past 70 years, so we kind of like can explain most of the stuff that's happened since then. But before that was available, weird stuff happened, and people kind of just didn't know how to explain it, and it became this kind of strange mystery, bizarre unsolved mystery. There's quite a lot more weird stuff. Like, have you heard about the Vancouver feet? But this is a modern one that's mysterious.
I've not heard of it. Oh, the feet! Yeah, as in double E. I thought you meant EA.
Oh.
But yeah, all these feet washed up wearing trainers.
Yeah. So like
That is fucking weird, and it's still going on.
Yeah.
It's still going on.
So like the last one was about December 16th, 2010. The remains of a human foot still encased in a shoe were found washed ashore near Tacoma, raising the tally of feet found on Pacific Northwest beaches to 10 since 2007.
And if people haven't heard this story, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh right, okay, so that's like 5 people. But no, they're all from different people, all of these feet.
Yeah, some of them are from the same person actually. A couple of them are from the same people.
Are they?
But yeah,
Shit.
most of them are from different people. So the first one was found August 2007 on Jedediah Island and was associated with the deceased man whose name police have withheld. Another man's right foot was found on Gabriola Island in Australia in the same month, so August 2007.
Did you almost say in Australia?
Yeah, I did, sorry.
Wow.
2 feet found on separate islands, Valdez Island and Westham Island, in July 2008 belonged to the same man, and 2 female feet found in Richmond belonged to the same woman. And then since then there've been a few more, and the last one was August 27th on Whidbey Island, and this latest one near Tacoma. They're all in shoes and socks.
It's really weird because you'd think that if someone lost a foot, they would go to the police.
Yeah.
And they would say, my foot's gone. Has anyone seen a foot? I've lost a couple.
So, our best guess for this one was someone in their mid to late teens. The shoe was a size 6 Ozark Trail hiking boot, sold in Walmart stores between 2004 and 2005. That's quite creepy, isn't it? So they're all of the previous 9 were in running shoes, but this one was in hiking boots. Ooh.
So it's someone preying on people who are going walking up around in Canada, and they're killing them and hacking their feet off and throwing them into the sea. It's weird how it's just feet that's been found, like nothing else.
Yeah, that is the weirdest bit, isn't it?
Lewis's scary mistress. I was thinking of a jingle, and that's the best I could do.
Like, it's kind of interesting to have this unexplained stuff and just think, what the hell? It's why CSI and stuff's so popular, and why, like, all these detective shows are so popular, and why Sherlock Holmes has been so popular. People like a sort of strange circumstance that's happened, and they think, well, what the hell? Why did that happen? And they kind of like to think, well, the immediate. It's why magicians and why magic's so popular. There's a lot of how did he do that? And people obviously jump to the conclusion that it's something supernatural because they can't immediately explain it.
And that's why Paul Daniels should be burnt at the stake.
Letters from the young North.
It's good that one of us remembers that jingle. Okay, so obviously it's
Yeah.
exam time again. So we're getting quite a few emails about exams. One from Stanley Mitchell, who's just finished his English exam. He says the final question was a letter question, and I decided to sign it off as Dave Yognort, as the address was in Devon.
Why not?
I thought this
Why
might
not?
be a good idea, because if my paper is marked by a fellow Yognort, they might give me extra
Yeah.
marks.
Yeah, that's fine. What isn't fine is at the exam on the front page when it says your name, don't put Dave Yognort on that. Put
No.
your real name.
Yeah.
Okay?
Your real name. Yes. He finishes off, having had some time to think over my decision, I have decided I was wrong, and they might think I'm a retard who puts random punctuation marks in his own name.
Oh dear.
Mm.
Well,
So,
there's
yeah.
a chance.
You can't win them all. You can't win them all.
No.
Serena McMullen writes, Dear Simon and Lewis, today I was forced into going to church by my parents, so I instinctively grabbed my headphones and thought to myself, I'll listen to the YoGPoD during the service. In the car, my dad said to me, he turned and said to me, the YoGPoD is forbidden.
What?
I obviously ignored this. I obviously ignored this, and whilst they were in church, I began giggling to myself.
Oh dear.
I didn't notice, however, that they'd gone into a deep prayer when I burst out into laughter.
Oh dear.
I was so embarrassed. When the time came for the children to leave for Sunday school, I leapt up and escaped with them. In the Sunday school, an old friend I had not seen for years looked down at my iPod and saluted and said, I am Dave!
Wow. Well, there you go.
I now have to go see my granddad to organise stamps. So
I'm
thank
sorry?
you, Lewis, for saving me some more
You have
boredom.
to what?
So yeah, I know.
What an exciting
This email
life.
is full of
What an
information.
exciting life you lead.
I-
Church and
Church,
stamps.
Stamps.
I mean,
P.S.
Oh.
The reason my dad has banned the YoGPod is because he heard one of them and was walking in
Yeah.
when Simon was talking about him feeling free because his underwear had slipped down.
yeah.
He felt that this was very inappropriate for a young lady to be listening to.
Well, he's right. Your father is right. So.
What a strange email this one is. Ruben Weir. Hi, my name is Ruben and I have a short story for you. 7 nights ago, I was listening to the YoGPod on my iPhone. I must have dozed off because I wake up the next morning with iPhone in my boxer and headphone wrapped around my legs. I untangled myself and had a shit. That's my story.
That's horrible.
Hope
That
you
is
had a
absolutely revolting. Why did you feel the need to share that with us? We didn't need to know that. That was horrible. Lewis, I want you to print out that email and then I want you to burn it. Can you do that?
Okay, I'll try
Can
that.
you do that for me? Or just delete it in Gmail. One or the
No,
other.
we'll do a sacrificial burning of that. It's pretty terrible.
Yeah. It's barbecue season, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, you know.
Okay, Alex Coleman. I'm writing to you to tell you about the happiest day
Sure.
I have had. For years being
Mhm.
vegetarian, I didn't eat Jaffa cakes because I thought they contained beef gelatin. However, the urge to eat Jaffa cakes
Ah.
became too much and I did some research. I finally discovered the gelling agent in Jaffa cakes is not in fact beef gelatin, but in fact pectin, which
Ooh.
comes from plants. I then ate as many Jaffa cakes as was humanly possible. From Alex Coleman.
Pectin can also
So there you
come
go.
from digestive systems of animals. They get it from that as well. Probably shouldn't have mentioned that. They are definitely vegetarian friendly, Jaffa cakes. Asterisk. Asterisk, they may not be.
It doesn't look like it does come from animals, though. It looks like it's mostly plants. According to Wikipedia,
Maybe these days.
it's like citrus peel, 30%. Citrus peels have 30% pectin.
Really?
It doesn't see that
Oh.
it comes like from anywhere else. So I think he's alright. I think he's alright. God, I was a bit worried then. He would have like vomited everywhere if he'd found out that it was actually made of like.
Oh no! If he was listening to this podcast whilst he was eating the Jaffa cake.
Yeah, well, he's a addict now. Oh goodness me,
God.
Simon. This is from Louisa Bateman. What do you think of the new
Okay.
Doctor, Matt Smith, and who are your
Ooh.
favourite doctors and companions?
Wow. I always had a thing for Ace, the companion for Sylvester McCoy's Doctor.
Right.
He wasn't a very good Doctor though. Tennant was pretty amazing, I have to say. But
I'm a big fan of the modern Doctor Who. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, Matt Smith's pretty decent, isn't he? He's pretty.
he's
decent.
good. I like Matt Smith. We've watched all of the new ones, haven't we? And we're big
Yeah.
fans of Doctor Who. The
Avid.
the recent one by Neil Gaiman was very, very good, because I'm a big fan of his as well. You know, the Sandman comics and stuff like that. It's a very serious answer. Do you like the dog, Simon? K9.
Do I like the dog?
The Robo Dog.
K9. Oh,
It's adorable.
well, he's not really adorable. He's not really much of a dog. He speaks and stuff, so he's quite strange.
He's kind of like a small box. Yeah.
a little friendly box.
Hello, Doctor.
It's the very sort of weird sort of noise.
Okay,
voice.
we've got some more questions from someone called Joe Pfaff. It's got he's got 5-letter surname and it's got 3 F's in it. So good work on that. He says, if you could live in any FPS game, what would it be?
Now, I thought he was going to say if you could live in any period of time, because that's a fairly common question to ask people. But live in an FPS?
That is a weird one.
I don't know, most FPSs are really violent, horrible places, aren't they, to be in? Like waves of enemies trying to kill you over and over again.
Yeah.
You basically have to act like a maniac, like a psychopath, in order to survive. You have to just go around just murdering everyone. I'm not sure I want to be in an FPS. Maybe if there's like an FPS in which you, I don't know, you chase rabbits and you make friends.
How about
with
like
people.
a dating-based FPS?
A dating sim?
Is there one of those?
What?
That might be good. Like a dating sim FPS. If there's one of those, let us know. Simon, could you go without Jaffa cakes for a day?
Well, you make me go without Jaffa cakes for a day now and again.
Sometimes, yeah. But usually it's like at least a packet a day. So,
Well, that's... You say that, but I went through all of the Jaffa cakes that I got gifted for my birthday, and that was about an average of a packet a day, which is just ridiculous, isn't it?
that is a lot of Jaffas. Do you have
Oh,
any
it was
children
amazing.
that you know about?
Do I have any children?
Yeah, that you know about.
No, not that I know of. I mean, there may be a possibility that there are little Simons out there. I don't know.
Okay.
It's not something you want to think about, really, is it?
No. Do you guys have a secret handshake?
The Eiffel Tower, we do.
Oh
don't
yeah,
we?
I suppose that's quite common. Simon, how did Big Al do in the Cleveland 2010 rally?
Oh God, it was terrible.
It's obviously been and gone now. Oh, was it?
Yeah. Oh my God, it was horrible.
I didn't know. We haven't really done an update on that for a while.
I mean, do you really want me to go into this? Because it's pretty harrowing. What
Okay.
happened.
Go on then.
Well, what happened was there's 3 different events that you take part in. There's like a race, a sort of obstacle course thing over
Right.
slightly flattened cars. I'm sure you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And then there's sort of an
Yeah.
endurance one in which you just do laps over and over again. And
yeah, everyone knows this. Yeah.
I mean, it started off really well. There was like the drag race thing that he came second on.
Okay.
Jerry McFarlane managed to beat him on that.
Oh.
'Cause, I mean, Jerry's...
Is he related to him? 'Cause
Pretty
he's
much top of
it's
his
Big
game.
Al McFarlane who we're talking about, isn't it?
Yeah, it's his nephew.
Oh. Wow.
It's part of the, like... They're sort of, they're a family of monster truck enthusiasts.
They're very close knit family.
And,
yeah.
They are. They're from the south,
Yeah.
if you see what I mean.
Very
So,
close.
they're very close.
It's also
close-knit.
his brother as well, isn't it?
It's also his brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, and his uncle. His nephew and uncle.
Yeah. Jimmy
Um,
McFarlane.
but yeah, I mean, things started off well. He came second in the in the drag race thing. In the endurance, he actually managed to win.
Oh right, wow.
And in the obstacle course thing, he managed to come third. But the person who was actually winning, his nephew uncle, sort of ballsed it up a bit.
Right.
He actually came last in that.
Oh.
So it turns out the Big Al, he won overall, which is great news. But he decided to do a lap of honour.
Oh.
Around the track. But unfortunately,
It's quite common to do that.
it is. It's quite common in most sports.
Mm.
In racing, you do sort of a lap of honour. But for some reason, he decided to do it without the monster truck. So he just sort of ran around.
Oh right.
And
And because he came first.
this was a bit of a problem.
Well, was the race still going on?
No. This was after everything ended. He did a lap of honour.
Oh. So what? Had everyone else gone
So
home?
he was going round.
Or
He was going around doing his lap of honour, but unfortunately, the safety car that goes round the track,
right.
that makes sure that you don't get people running onto the
Yeah.
pitch, as it's called. That's the name of the
monster
where
truck
they race, the pitch.
Race area. Yeah, the
The
pitch.
safety car was also doing a lap
Right.
to make sure that
No one was on the track.
that everything was clear and no one
Right.
was around.
Okay.
And unfortunately, to cut a long story short, he got run over. He
By
got
the
run
safety
over
car.
by the safety car. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Um,
if you're a professional level monster truck racer, that's how you want to go out, and that's how you want to go out.
Pretty much.
Well, I bet he's up there in heaven right now.
He's not dead.
Oh.
He's not actually dead,
Oh.
Lewis.
Oh.
I don't know why you just jumped to that conclusion.
Sorry, I just assumed that he'd been killed.
No. He's still alive. He's
Uh-huh.
he's flattened though. He's like a cardboard cutout.
Oh. Like what happens in Walt
In
Disney
cartoons.
cartoons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. He is
Yeah.
like a cartoon sort of flattened man, and it's quite convenient because, like, when he got out of hospital and he went back home, he forgot his front door key, but it's fine because he just like slipped through the letterbox.
Well, there's a lot of very there's a lot of very
So,
good
every cloud.
careers you can get as a flattened man. You can go into
Yeah,
like
flat
walls
man.
and do
Yeah.
wiring and stuff like this.
You can just pass through walls.
No, you can just
What?
like slide
He's
in
flat.
to
He's
the
not a
gaps
ghost,
between
Lewis.
walls.
Mm.
And like also you can work as a spy, because if you like turn to the side, then you're invisible.
Oh right, I see.
Yeah,
That's quite clever. I like that.
yeah.
I didn't. Oh God, where are we going with this?
Okay.
I don't know anymore.
Well, there you go. Shall we move on?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, sure, please.
Somebody has sent us an email that they've formally changed their name to
Uh-huh.
Dave YoGPoD.
What?
What? Yep, it's a man named. He was called Peter Gregory, but now no longer. He's now called Dave YoGPod, and he has actually sent us the deed, of which he
So it's official.
deed poll.
He
He's
is-
officially changed his name. He was called Peter Gregory. He's now D YoGPod.
But it's supposed to be D Yognaut.
Oh,
So I think he sort of ballsed it up.
I think
a
he
bit?
might have ballsed it up, but he's got this really
Oh,
fancy
dear.
signature as well for it.
Really? Sort of a flourish.
Flourished D
Sort of
YoGPod.
cursive.
It seems like what he's done is
Oh.
he's sent me this thing. It's all sealed and signed.
Yeah.
It was done a couple of weeks ago. Actually, no, it wasn't ago. It was
Signed,
done
sealed,
10 days
delivered.
ago. That's all. So he's
10 days
Yeah.
ago.
So it was done.
Oh my
It
goodness.
was done by Mr. Justice Vasey, and it's all legal. It's all done.
So this is official. This is actually official.
Yep.
This is
He
real.
did it in the presence of Vivian
no.
Gregory and Stephen Gregory, who I assume would be his parents. So they must have been supporting this decision. Change his name
Really?
to
They didn't go, "What the hell are you doing,
The
son?"
YoGPoD.
They went. They were like, "Are they Yognauts as well? Are they changing their names?"
Well, that would be a bit confusing if your mum, dad, and son were called Dave
Dave.
YoGPoD.
Yeah,
Come on.
okay, it would be a little bit confusing, wouldn't it?
It's very official looking, this
But-
certificate, and I mean the story is definitely true. So good for you,
Mm.
Peter. Not Peter. Sorry,
Good for
Dave.
you.
Good for
Dave.
you, Dave.
Dave.
Dave?
Good for you, Dave.
Um,
Dave.
and best of luck,
Good for
because
you.
that's a name that will get you
Yeah.
places. Definitely.
Will it?
Oh yeah.
It's not exactly max power, is it?
Right. This is from Matt Tanner. I have two questions. The first being for Simon. I remember hearing you mention that you went to Cardiff University. I am a 17-year-old from
Mhm.
America, and I am applying to college in Scotland or England. Cardiff was one of my top
Okay.
schools when I visited last March. but it didn't
Okay.
really stand
First
out.
of all, Cardiff isn't in Scotland or England,
Right.
So good effort with that.
It's in Wales, yeah.
You've already ballsed that up.
Do you enjoy
Um,
Cardiff? Recommend it as a college, or does it have anything else to offer? How were your college years? That's the question.
How were my college years?
Yeah.
They were.
Would you recommend Cardiff University to this young man?
Sure. Why not?
You're an
Why
alumni,
not?
aren't you? You know.
I am.
Yeah.
I am. I'm a sort of dishonourable. You know how you can get like a degree with honour? Well, I didn't have a degree and I had it with dishonour. So exactly what you don't want. Be cool, stay in school.
Okay, we got an email from Lewis Morrison, who is supposed to be revising for his A-level exams that are coming up, and he's procrastinating by
Oh.
emailing us. So thank you for that, Lewis Morrison. He's got a load of questions that he's compiled
Oh, God,
over time
really?
for us. So are you ready for these? Simon, have you ever made a cup of tea, then
Lewis.
realised you were out of milk and used ice cream
Oh.
as a substitute?
No.
Okay.
No, that's weird. Why would anyone do that? Ice
Would you
cream?
be inclined to do such a thing over the summer if you were hot and decided that you needed to
ooh.
use ice cream instead?
I don't know,
You know,
because
sort of a cool ice cup of
you'd
tea.
have a really sort of... Well, it would be like
It's
room
weird, isn't it?
temperature sort of cup of tea, and it'd be like really frothy and weird, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's nice.
The ice cream would like displace.
You'd probably spill it everywhere. It'd be horrible. No, I don't know. No. Coffee, I would use it with.
Simon, if I have an empty glass and I fill up half of it
Mhm.
with water, is it half empty or half full?
If you're in the process of filling it, then you would say it was half full. But if you were drinking out of it and it was half, it would be half empty.
Yeah, you'd be pouring it out. Very good.
If you were drinking it and it was half full, then it would be half empty.
It's a matter of what you're doing to it in future, not what it is at the moment.
Yeah, that's how I like to see it.
How big is the Yogs cast staff?
About 6 inches.
Wow.
Oh no!
Gold.
No. Oh,
Anyway, think of a colour that doesn't exist, Simon.
Borange.
Wow. That sounds like an incredible colour. It doesn't exist. Well done.
Borange. There you go. Borange.
So thank you, Lewis, for those questions. Jolly good.
Oh, heavens above.
Orange.
Borange.
Blimey. This is from Hayden Tyo. Hayden Tyo. He says, I've got a couple of suggestions for you that might be fun to try out. Simon, can I hear your best American accent? Imagine you were doing like a Hugh Laurie and you had to audition for an American part.
Well, gee whiz, this is some nice meatball here.
It started off as like an American tourist with like a camera around their neck, and it turned into like someone from the Bronx.
I mean, doing an American accent, it's like doing an English accent. You know, there's no just English accent, like there's no American accent.
That's true.
There's different regions and different people speak differently depending on where they are, different places.
Hello? Hello? Can I have some cheese? Can I have some cheese on my burger?
There we go. Is that an American accent? Isn't it?
Burger, you say that so nicely. That's so attractive, that voice. Well, there you go. Thank you for that suggestion, Hayden. That's a good one. Some people have been digging in their garden. Lots of people have been digging around.
Oh no.
Ron Wern
Diggy.
was digging around and he found a rusty key under an apple tree. My goodness, that could be for anything.
Ooh,
That could be for anything.
that's quite. Finding rusty keys is always, it makes you think, oh God, is there treasure somewhere?
Yeah. Especially if it's
No.
like a little one,
Could be a
it's
key
really
for
ornate.
anything.
You know, it could be like for a box or
It's
something.
like, oh,
Wow.
There's like a magical box somewhere, just buried. Keep looking. Just keep looking. You'll find it one day.
This is from Abby McIntyre. I just thought I'd send you this picture of me and Brian Blessed because I know you love him, and I met him when I was at a summer camp with the British Youth Film Academy.
Really?
He was making a film. It's in a short film.
Wow.
Oh, it's a lovely picture of Abby hugging the big bearded man himself. She says, he came in and the first thing I noticed was that he talked very loud. This is perfect for me because I'm partially deaf. He was just right and very lovely. Ah, it's a lovely little story.
It is, isn't it?
It's a very heartwarming story!
Oh, God.
Oh, Brian. Such a lovely man, isn't he?
So this is a story from Reese Flexner. He sent in a story. We've had a couple of these about people's own experiences with, like, the continental drift. You know, the experience of your boxers
Oh,
running
God.
free.
Yeah.
It's really, taken a chord with the people, and they've caught similar stories in. So this one is from Reese Flexner. It says, "Hello, I thought you might get a kick out of this. Yesterday I was walking down the street with a girl I kind of fancy, and I suddenly was aware of a sort of a lump at the bottom of my jeans. I thought maybe my sock had become bunched up or something, so I did a little leg shake to get it out. Out of the bottom of my jeans comes an entire dirty pair of boxers
What?
that must somehow have wedged themselves in.
How is that even possible to do that?
Well,
How can you do that?
the thing is, what happens is, they weren't the ones he was wearing, they were ones from yesterday. Because what you do sometimes, well, I do it anyway, is when I'm like undressing before I go to bed, I just like take my jumper and shirt off in one go, and then I take my like trousers, pants, and socks off in one go as well. And so
You
like
take your trousers, your pants, and your socks all off at once.
in one
What?
smooth motion. Yeah, have you not done this? It's like
No,
you just grab your pants